And today, 12th of March, is World Kidney Day. We thought we would all help ourselves with a bit of education on kidneys. So I've been joined by Dr. Ebenezer Odro-Mensah. He's the head of the OPD department, the outpatient department at Ridge Hospital. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
So can we start with how do I detect or how can I tell that I have a kidney problem?
Thank you very much. I think we should first of all look at the kidney and what it does, and that will basically inform us as to how some of the disease presents.
Okay.
Now, the kidneys are two bean-shaped organs which are located in the abdomen, okay, towards the back of the abdomen or posterior of the abdomen. And they have three main functions. They have a few others, but the three main functions are one, to regulate the fluids and electrolyte balance. For the layman, we say water and the substances in the water that we have in the body.
Okay.
To regulate it, and in doing so, they help regulate the blood pressure. They also help to eliminate waste from the body. So as we eat, all the waste materials that are generated from what we eat, majority of them are eliminated through the kidneys. And then they help produce what we call erythropoietin. That's a substance that helps in the production of red cells. And we all know red cells is what we need in terms of provision of energy. They carry the energy, they are the energy carrying things in the body. Yeah, so with these three, once you have kidney disease, it will reflect in one of these.
Okay.
You could have changes in your urinary flow. You realize that you probably urinate more frequently than you usually did, especially in the night. You have a challenge with, when there's a challenge with the waste disposal aspect of kidney function, then you could have itching of the skin because the waste accumulates in the body. That can cause the body to itch. You may feel nauseous, you vomit because the waste has accumulated in the body. Then we have the other function of the kidney, which is the electrolyte balance.
Electrolyte balance?
Yeah, or basically the fluid balance.
Okay.
Yes, so if that function is no more occurring, then you have accumulation of fluid in the body. So
but urinating frequently, sometimes isn't it normal? Especially when you're pregnant.
Well, urinating frequently itself is not normal. It's secondary, or it's as a result of something.
So maybe I should ask, ideally, how often should you urinate a day?
Ideally, there is no standard.
Okay.
Yes. Some people take in a lot of water, and so urinate more frequently. For them, they are conscious of it. It's a voluntary thing. Whereas some others don't take in that much water, but because of a disease state of the kidney, or from some other condition like diabetes, we have diabetes mellitus, which is the sugar disease we know, diabetes insipidus, which is something that has to do with the brain more. Yes, they urinate frequently. If you have kidney disease, something irritating the kidney, because let's remember that as one of the kidney functions in controlling the fluid, by fluid I mean water or liquid in the body, balance. Okay, it helps produce urine. So if there is a disease in there, it will make you urinate more frequently, or it could even reduce the frequency of urination.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So what is your first point of call if you realize, you know, there's a problem somewhere?
Well, ideally, if you know the symptoms of kidney disease, and once you start getting some of these things, what we recommend that you go to the nearest health facility. You don't just walk straight to Ridge Hospital or Columbus Hospital. You walk to the nearest health facility. There are some basic investigations we will have to do.
Okay.
Let's keep in mind that kidney disease is not the only cause of all these symptoms we talked about. Swelling of the body, exercise, not just kidney disease.
But you know, there are times that people would go to a lot of hospitals and they would not know what the problem is. Later, they find out, and sometimes it's really, really late that it's a kidney problem.
Well, it is unfortunate, but I think if you go to the right place, you should get the help you need. Let's also keep in mind that there's nothing wrong with seeking a second opinion. So if you go to a facility once, twice, and you do not believe you are getting the help you need, there is nothing wrong with seeking a second opinion from another facility, or possibly requesting for a referral to a health facility. And it's up to your caregiver to discuss it with you and come to an agreement whether you really need that referral or not.
Okay, we've had some people who live on one kidney. Can you survive on one, and for how long?
Well, the kidneys adapt very well. You know, as you age, the kidneys get destroyed. If you have just one kidney, it can adapt so well to perform the function of two kidneys. So yes, you can live a full life with just one kidney. But the Lord in His own wisdom give us two, so that if one gets spoiled, the other can come in and support us.
Do we have people waiting in line to get donations for people to donate their kidneys to them, even here in Ghana?
I don't have the figures, but when I was working in Kolebu, I was aware of patients waiting in line. There are quite a number of patients on renal dialysis who are all waiting to have a kidney transplant in the near future, so that they can be taken off dialysis. Let's remember that dialysis is quite expensive. Close to $300. That's about 900 Ghana cedis to 1,000 Ghana cedis a week. It's no small money.
That's a lot of money. Yes.
So there are quite a number of people who wish they could be taken off this, because once you get off dialysis,
just explain a little bit, you know, the dialysis process to us.
Well, dialysis is, when I spoke about the functions of the kidney, okay, it's always important to know what the kidney is doing, regulating your blood pressure and especially the waste products in the body. If you have accumulation of waste products in the body, then basically it's like it's sanitary conditions we keep having. You are going to die, basically. So what's happening is the dialysis machine, okay, it's an equipment that sieves the blood, the waste substances, the excess electrolytes, excess fluids from the blood. So it basically takes your blood through a process outside the body, cleanses it, and gives back the clean blood into you, which is exactly what the kidneys would have done if they
on
were
its own.
Yes.
Okay, so but why is it so expensive?
It's basically the equipment and the things that are not reusable, okay, with the equipment. It's not just one machine sitting there and everybody is paying $1,000 for. When you go in there, it's your blood being taken out of you and processed. Okay, it goes through a series of equipment, and they need to be changed every time for every individual. Yes, because you don't want to, if somebody has an infection, you don't want the next person to get it. So every time somebody goes through a dialysis machine, there are a number of parts of the equipment that needs to be changed, and they cost, because these are not things manufactured locally.
So for how long can you keep the waste in your system until you go through the process of getting rid of it?
Well, on the average, you need about, for those on dialysis, they need 2 to 3 sessions per week.
Really?
Yes, that tells you that you probably can't keep that waste in the system for more than 3-4 days. Otherwise, they start building up, they become toxic in the body, and then you can.
But help me understand a bit. Does it mean that you will not be able to go to the toilet or urinate? How is it? What is accumulating in your system that would usually, would have come out on its own?
One of the major components of the waste that accumulates in the system, increase most of the problems, is urea.
Okay.
Urea is a breakdown of proteins. Let's keep in mind that the body is made of proteins. The body, the building block is proteins. We eat a lot of proteins. So what happens then is, as the proteins we eat, or as the body blocks break down into what we call urea, they need to be processed out of the body. So when they accumulate, then you are likely to suffer the toxic consequences.
Okay.
And then the electrolytes, these are, shall I say, minerals, sodium, potassium, etc. And they regulate the balance in the body. They make sure your body fluid, the body is made of 60% fluid, water. They make sure that the water remains in the appropriate compartments, you know, and the excess of these are taken out of the body. So if your kidney is not functioning to take out the excess, one component may build up. That is why those with chronic kidney disease tend to, they have a lot of fluid accumulation. They get swollen face, swollen legs, etc. Because there is some imbalance in these components. And because of that, those imbalances, they are not able to eliminate the excess fluid in the body. You know, so the fluids accumulate, you lose some essential minerals in the body, you have toxic products accumulating in the blood, and then eventually death. Okay.
So if you cannot afford to pay, you know, to go through dialysis, then it means you're just waiting to die.
Well, you said it.
But isn't there anything that, you know, a doctor or any hospital can do?
Short of dialysis, no. Because the kidney has a function. Well, that function has to, the waste has to be eliminated. If the waste cannot be eliminated, they will accumulate. And they accumulate, you die. Short of dialysis and having a kidney transplant, it's a challenge, which is why the preventive aspect is very important.
Yeah, we'll come to that, but quickly, I just want to ask, are Ghanaians willing to donate their kidneys?
I think the education hasn't gotten to that level where we are quite informed that having one kidney can help you, make you survive or help you survive. We haven't gotten there yet. So we don't have donors who are ready and willing to donate. Usually have family members who might want to step in. But we don't have general pool of donors who are ready and willing to.
But how does it work? You need a match, or how is it like?
Well, basically you need a match because the body is funny. Each individual is unique. And in our uniqueness, we tend to reject anything that is not us. Because the body's system is built up to reject anything foreign, you know. So if you put anything foreign into another body, the body basically marshals its soldiers to fight against that, what they term foreign, and kill it. You know? So you need a very perfect or a near perfect match, which is why most donors has to be a relative, or they stay on the waiting list for very long periods waiting for a donor. Because it's difficult to get the near perfect match.
If I donate to you and your body rejects, can I have my kidney back?
It destroys the kidney. Yes. It sends its soldiers to destroy that kidney.
Wow.
So you cannot have the kidney back if the body rejects it. That kidney is gone.
So this is very serious. And so on this day, I want the last thing that will be on our minds to be what to do not to get, you know, not to introduce any problem to your kidney.
Well, kidney injury could be acute. And for acute, sudden onset over a short period, most of them can be reversed. If it's chronic, that is where we tend to have a challenge and they tend to require dialysis or transplant. And one of the common causes of chronic kidney disease has to be old friends, hypertension and diabetes, which quite a number of older folks have. A tight control of blood pressure, that's hypertension and diabetes, helps to prevent kidney disease. A lot of people have kidney disease, but very few progress to end-stage failure. And that is when you near death. So it's important that those of us with hypertension and diabetes, we ensure a strict control, we ensure strict drug compliance. There are other risk factors which we need to be aware of. Basically, when we're able to detect this early, we're able to manage them. Salt intake. Salt, yes. Generally, let's talk about our diet. We need to look at salt intake. The blood pressure goes up because of a component of salt called sodium in the body. Excess salt use, especially for those of us who like adding salt on the table, etc., is not the best. Our processed food that contain a lot of salt, the chips, potato chips, the crackers, etc., that have salt, it's not the best for us. And the young ones should make sure they stay clear of these things so that it does not affect them as they grow old. And they're using red meats, a lot of the meat products. Let's remember that meat has to be broken down, its protein has to be broken down and to be eliminated in the urine. So if you think that you are having fun by eating a lot of meat, you are putting a lot of stress on the kidneys, and that could eventually lead to kidney failure. And then we need to look at obesity, our weight. Okay, that's weight, alcohol use, smoking, they all have a negative effect on the kidneys and can actually cause kidney damage. So those are some of the things we need to avoid. Exercise are good.
Okay.
30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, as often as you can. Help keep the doctor away. Yes.
Okay, but this, you know, the two cousins you mentioned was hypertension and something else, and diabetes.
Yes.
Are these two things you can reverse?
They are also chronic in that you cannot usually reverse them, but you can manage them. You don't cure hypertension, you don't cure diabetes, you manage it.
So that it doesn't lead to, you know, this ultimate...
Yes, if you are taking your medications and getting strict compliance and good management, you are like any other person who doesn't have the condition. The only difference is every morning you have to take 2 or 3 tablets, the other doesn't. Okay. But you are almost the same. The progression then is slow. Progression to end stage is slow. And most people will die of natural causes even before the hypertension or diabetes gives them complications. But when you are not compliant, then you have all the challenges coming in, including chronic kidney disease, which is one of the commonest complications of hypertension and diabetes. Quickly,
is this common in children?
Chronic kidney disease is not common in children, but it can happen in children.
Okay.
You tend to see it in children who have what we call congenital abnormalities of the kidney. They were born with defects of the kidney, and because of those defects, they can go on to suffer from the ill effects of kidney disease if they don't get a kidney transplant or they don't get the appropriate interventions early enough.
Okay. So one last thing you want us to have on our minds as we celebrate today?
Well, today is World Kidney Day. We need to keep in mind that prevention is always better than cure. We can prevent ourselves from getting chronic kidney disease by making sure we eat the right foods, reduce our salt intake, stay away from alcohol, stay away from smoking. And last but not the least, for those of our colleagues who are hypertensive and diabetic, please, it is not malaria which has a 3-day cure. There is no cure. You can't manage it. So make sure you take your medicines, make sure you visit the hospitals regularly. And if you see any symptoms of kidney disease, go to the nearest health facility and seek appropriate care.
I'd like to say thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Dr. Ebenezer Odro-Mensah is the head of the outpatient department at Rich here in Accra. And one thing that he said that I'm keeping on my mind, it's not a bad thing to seek a second opinion. If you go to a facility and you think, well, you're not really clear in your mind, you need a second opinion, it's not a bad thing to do. So go ahead and take care of yourselves and celebrate today, World Kidney Day, with all the thoughts that he's shared with us on your mind. Coming up next, Roland Walker, he's got the talk. You want to stay on for that.